Peace and blessings. This is Brother Mike X Speaks. Welcome. Tonight we're going to be talking about race, a discussion that we can no longer avoid nor escape. A couple of weeks ago, we filmed a clip called The Ongoing Legacy of American Slavery, and talking about how slavery still exists on a mental, spiritual, and even cultural level. For those of you who are interested, please, by all means, check that clip out, on Brother Mike X Speaks. Tonight, we're going to be talking about race, which is connected, to our past and what has happened to us as a people. There are many who believe that it is somehow noble. Race is just a taboo issue. Especially for us, we're expected to just get past it, and a lot of us don't want to deal with it, and a lot of the people on the other side of the issue, the ancestors of those who benefited, white folk from the institution of slavery, a lot of them, they don't want to deal with it either. Their approach to it is, I didn't enslave anybody, but we can't afford to go along with that. So there's a lot of us who believe that it's somehow noble if we refuse to discuss it. It's just a non-issue. Don't bring it up. And then there are others who allow others to make them feel like, it's racist. If I talk about what was done to our people, if I speak up on behalf of black people, if I just speak about blackness, period, somehow I'm being racist. This stops us, this stops us from being able to move ahead. Just like, I said in the other clip, us striving to avoid the fact that we were once enslaved and that there are habits and behaviors and beliefs that still affect us today. If we avoid it, if we ignore it, if we don't come into a full knowledge and understanding of it, there's no way that we can deal with those behaviors that are still ongoing. Today, a lot of us have adopted identities, because we refuse to deal with this issue. We've adopted identities that do us a whole lot of damage and harm. I work with young people. I've been working with young people for 20 years. And there's a phenomenon with our young people where it's just, it's nigga. You my nigga, he's my nigga. Yo, my nigga, And amongst the adults, the so-called responsible ones, a lot of us have adopted another word that is just as destructive, maybe even more so, the word minority. As far as the nigger identity is divisive, it's self-hating. It brings us down a dark path, where the habits and behaviors that are associated with that is anti-education, it's anti-discipline, it's anti-morals, it's anti-self-empowerment, and, because it's anti all of those things, it has become anti-life. A lot of our young people are killing each other on the street. Brother Malcolm said a long time ago, that without education, we're demoted to the level of the lower animals. And there's a whole lot of our people, particularly our young people, adopting the savagery, the uncivilized behaviors and attitudes, that are animalistic, And the unfortunate thing about it is we're being this way towards each other. Now the minority portion of it, we are led to feel that that's a little bit more responsible, and maybe it is, but the root word of minority is minor, and if you adopt or we adopt the attitude and the label of being minorities, then by default we're calling electing someone else to be major or be the majority. And in effect, we become dependent on them. And it stops us from ever looking at assuming some type of leadership for ourselves. So from the nigger mindset, which is very destructive and animalistic, to the minority mindset, which is dependent on someone else to do things for us instead of us getting to the point where we do it for ourselves. Both of those labels do not serve us in any way, shape, or form. So we have to get to the point where we adopt something better than that. Now me, I'm a black man, and a lot of us, we get into the argument of, we're not black, we're African, or we're Africans in America, or we're African Americans, or whatever. I think that those discussions a lot of times stop us from really getting to the behaviors and attitudes that we really need to adopt behind that. So to stop myself from being pulled this way or pulled that way, I just say I'm black. And I advocate that we need an identity and behavior pattern that's rooted in a positive, that's rooted in positivity, that's rooted in self-empowerment, that's rooted in knowing your history and your culture, and that helps to strengthen us, that allows us to see ourselves as family, as brother and sister, as the village that people talk about that's needed, to empower, the children. We need to adopt that. I say, as an example, and many people, might feel that it's negative for me to say this, but look at the Jewish community. The Jewish community has an identity. The Jewish community, they have a positive identity. They control everything in it. They control the politics. They control the businesses. They have their own schools. They have their own security force. They have their own emergency medical services. And, they've turned inward. They're not relying on anybody. The thing about it is, why do I bring them up? I don't bring them up to say anything negative. I bring them up because I admire what they have done. And it's interesting to me that they have way less numbers most of the time throughout this country and in the neighborhoods that they own and control. They have way less numbers in this country than we have. But isn't it interesting that they never call themselves minority? You see what I'm saying? So the word minority doesn't apply to them because they've unified themselves and organized themselves to a level where they're not dependent on anyone. And because their community is so self-sustaining, there's not the negativity like that exists, like so many of us have adopted the nigger mentality. You don't have that in the Jewish community either, because there's opportunity, for everyone to be uplifted and to grow. I say that if we adopt the identity of being black people and not allowing anyone to make us think that it's somehow noble not to discuss this, or allowing anyone to make us feel that it's racist for us to discuss this. We have to get to the point where we give ourselves permission to be and work to become black people. No more waiting for somebody else to come and do something for us that we should be doing for ourselves. Because you be waiting a long time and you run the risk of nobody ever coming. So, this is definitely an issue that needs to be tackled. We need a positive identity. And an identity that's not just about 7 days of Kwanzaa. An identity that's not just about February, Black History Month, shortest month of the year. We need an identity that allows us to be for ourselves 365 days a year, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Where we can begin to grapple with the many issues that we need to be able to tackle for ourselves in our community. So, get back at me. I know that just about everything that I've put on my YouTube channel thus far, I know that it's all controversial. I know that a lot of us don't want to be responsible for bringing about the change in our own lives and in our own neighborhoods. I know that a lot of us don't want to be accountable to each other, to give our best effort, you know, as individuals, and to collaborate and help support a movement to make some change. But we can't get away from this. You know, you can strive to absolve yourself of the responsibility and the accountability to your neighbor. You can ignore this message, but can you ignore the repercussions that are coming from us not working together? Can you ignore the repercussions that are coming from us not finding a way to unite with one another and not being able to organize ourselves into a self-sustaining group the way other successful groups have done in this country, the way the Italians have their little Italies, the way the Koreans have their, you know, Koreatown, and the Chinese have their Chinatowns, and, you know, can we afford to continue to be separate, divided and conquered? So I'm going to leave you with that tonight. You know, give me your comments, give me your thoughts, give me your opinions, give me your critiques, and let's turn this into a much-needed dialogue. So, you know, thank you for tuning into this YouTube channel, and as always, peace.